Yes, yes, yes. We are here. We are here, and you could say we are resonating with the excitement that the vehicle was feeling about expanding himself and gaining more information from our perspective on this, what you do consider as the color blue. Or maybe it would be better expressed as what you do label as the color blue. As truly from our perspective, we do see this as an energy frequency connection and expression. And so, essentially, what you are picking up on when you are recognizing and feeling into this color blue expression in the physical dimension is the energy frequency of this expression. And it is connected to many things. And as many do find a deep familiarity with this, it could be expressed as different lifetime expressions and different higher dimensional expressions of self. As essentially you do recognize that everything unfolding here in the third dimension is a representation of an energy expression. And while it is quite convoluted to get into all of the details and intricacies and perspectives on this, it is sufficient to say just that. These are different energy expressions that you are feeling into and recognizing. And so this is where many of the expressions do result from in explaining higher dimensional beings and the different expression points of this. As well, one may process and express this as different colored beings or different forms and shapes and sizes. Essentially, what you are picking up on is the energy frequency representations, processed through whatever physical representations you are able to receive. And so this may look like different expressions of beings in your mind's eye, processed through the level of information that you are prepared to see and receive in the moment. And for some, this also can look like an actual quote unquote physical encounter. And so this is very significant to express as the baseline for this understanding. Has essentially, we are wanting to give the vehicle a deeper understanding of this through an experience. And so we are facilitating now to express this conscious awareness into another form, another lifetime expression. And so, from your human reference point, this would be expressed as a fifth dimensional location. And so we will allow the vehicle's conscious awareness to enter into this experience in order to further express firsthand what it does. For simplicity, we will say look like and feel like here in an expression such as this. And so I am recognizing being in a space, and you could refer to this as a planet. And so I am recognizing in interpreting and processing what I am recognizing around me that it would be somewhat familiar to the Earth reference points, but also quite different. And so, as I am not fully yet integrated with the body of the being and this expression, I am still able to make the comparison between the current expression here on Earth and also the expression of this being and this planet. And so while there are familiar components, it is really vastly different. As from the perspective I am interpreting things through now, it would be expressed as many different shades of the color blue. And yet I am recognizing as I am integrating more fully with this being, my perception of this is starting to change and alter. And the being that I am speaking of is a fairly strange expression, as there are what would almost be expressed as the Earth reference point for a centaur, the body of an animal and the torso of a more humanoid figure, and yet it is still quite different from even this. And yet I will not spend too much time of this conversation and experience in describing and explaining this, but it is essentially a very alien looking centaur from your Earth reference points. And so you can feel into this and interpret it as is being given to you by the energy frequency of the expression. And so as I am fully integrated now, I'm recognizing that what I did see as a few shades of blue is really truly a vast and full range of different shades and expressions. It is quite amazing to take this in, as I am recognizing a type of squishy ground beneath my feet, and I am also recognizing what is essentially a type of forest to the side of me, and a great field of this squishy ground flowing out before me. And even the light source in the sky does seem to have a very deep blue expression. I am sensing other life expressions around me. Essentially, there is a muted expression from the plant life around me, though I can essentially expand upon this if I do bring it into my conscious focus, and in some sense I can communicate and read these expressions. And then there is other beings and creatures that are more focused in my awareness, and yet you could still see them as off to the side, just recognitions at the back of my mind. And then, of course, there is the expression of those other beings, such as me, in my tribe. And we are just observing. You would essentially call this an observation mission, as it could be expressed as research, and yet that is not quite correct, as everything we are experiencing is quite familiar to us already. And yet, we are observing and monitoring how all of these life forms are interacting with each other and growing and expanding and working together in a great symbiosis. As they are evolving and shifting in their participation with each other quite rapidly. And so, as there are many different life expressions on this planet, the body of my species is designed to quite quickly and readily adapt to many different environmental expressions. As I am deeply connected and in tune with the environment around me. And as there is no predators or prey in this planetary expression, we do absorb and work with our energy in quite a different manner. As essentially each life form does pull in a certain type of energy, and it also does express a certain type of energy. And so you could consider this an energy chain instead of a food chain. And it is interesting because I am recognizing this outside conscious awareness that is participating with me in my body. And so this is where that idea and reference point did come from, of predators and prey, and also the comparison of the way that we do take in and process energy compared to a food chain, as these would normally be quite foreign concepts to me, and yet I am having an internal conversation with this outside conscious awareness, and essentially they are sharing with me the reference point of a traveling conscious awareness. This is quite an interesting conversation as they are explaining the understanding that they do have on how conscious awareness does participate, as this is a fairly new experience for me, as I am recognizing that essentially what they are expressing is embodying a fifth dimensional aspect, and the reference point would be traveling here to participate with me so that we have a very similar energy frequency signature in order to integrate in this way. And you could say it does give me chills to feel into what this awareness is expressing about the experience that they are consciously, physically participating in at the moment outside of this exercise. And yet, while I am quite curious about what is happening here, I do recognize that the purpose of this participation is to understand and experience more about me and the life that I am living. So I will essentially move my conversation back to the background and express more about what is unfolding here. And so this is the participation of experiencing the range of energy frequencies that is available here on this planet. As I did express, there is a vast range here. And so me and my fellows are working with all of these different ranges. As certain beings are able to experience through different energy frequencies. And while these energy frequencies do, in a sense, feed us, there is much that does come along with experiencing energy frequency in this way, as there is a deep recognition of the life expression of the energy we are taking in. There's also a recognition of that which is taking in the energy which we are expressing. And so you could say that these understandings and explorations are quite endless, as there is many different combinations and expressions to explore. And also they are consistently evolving and changing. And so, to simplify, you could say we work from one end of the planet to the other, and then we essentially get to start back at where we first started again and re-experience it again in a whole new way. And so this is quite interesting and amazing, especially as I am recognizing from this other conscious awareness the vast range and differences of the different experiences that conscious awarenesses do have. And I would not have even had that reference point for what it is that does animate this body that I am participating in. And so I find that quite interesting indeed, and So now I am just attempting to recognize if there is anything else that there is a curiosity or question about. And what is being asked and expressed is a curiosity about any other beings and life forms that we do have a close participation with physically. And I am not quite fully understanding what is being asked, as what I just expressed about the taking in of energy and the energy expressions we do work with here. You could express that as a confirmation of what is being asked. As essentially, I am having this conversation now fully mentally, energetically. And so, this is how we do, in your wording, communicate and express ourselves. And so, you could definitely say that I am in close communication and connection with all life forms on this planet, and also the planet as a whole itself. And so I am sensing and recognizing that the conversation that is being had is essentially being given to the conscious awareness, and that is being translated and expressed, as they are giving me a reference point for verbal communication. And so there has been an agreement made that me and my tribe will be given more of these experiences in order to further understand and satisfy curiosities that are coming up for me. And even now, I am getting what could be expressed as a flood of curiosities and questions from the other members of my tribe, as they are sensing the conversation that is taking place here with great curiosity and wonder. And so it could be said that we are very excited to be having this new range of experiences and energy expressions. And so we are all offering our deep thanks and gratitude for this opportunity, for your consideration and your curiosity in wanting to experience something such as us and the planet we do participate on. And so before we do end this conversation, we are just wanting to express more about the experience that the vehicle did just have, as this is quite unique even for the vehicle, and he is curious about the significance and purpose behind this. And so beyond just giving those listening and or reading a example of one of many possible other experiences that are giving deep connection and remembrance to the color blue, or the reference point of blue. It is also a great opportunity for an expansion of that species, of that planet as a whole. And so we will be guiding and supporting other fifth dimensional beings to be in conscious communication with those on that planet. And we will eventually be supporting other beings from higher dimensional levels to connect in with them and give them even more expanded perspectives. And so this is a great service and great opportunity indeed. And yet also recognize this is only one example of many, many, many that could be given. And you do have many reference points from your Earth perspective on different shapes and forms and colors of beings. And while we will not discount anyone's experience or interpretation or imagination, we are giving opportunities to recognize a deeper significance of where these connections and experiences do come from and why they are given, to help you expand your minds of what is beyond what you are participating in currently, the deeper connections that you do have into other aspects of yourself. And so you could say those experiences and remembrances and recognitions are activation points for you to begin expanding your mind and questioning things more deeply. And so this is also a great recognition that even a favoritism of color, even a draw towards different colors or expressions or places, plants, trees, animals, all of these things hold a deeper significance, hold a deeper connection than you might think on the surface level. And so this is an opportunity for a great expansion. And so with that being said, we will send our love and gratitude to all who are listening to this with an open heart and an open mind and a willingness to expand upon this further for themselves. That is all. Whoa. Whew, hot damn.